Former champ, Heartbreak Kid Bobby Czyz hopes to turn tough times into triumph as he wagers a comeback campaign.
Careful combination by Czyz.
He'll face another former champ, Andries, who has title aspirations of his own. They meet in a 10-round light heavyweight.
And Andries. In the first part of our boxing doubleheader earlier today on NBC Sports Ringside, it was the more experienced Terrence Ali winning a 10-round decision in a junior welterweight bout, putting Jerry Page down in round number 3 and going on to the unanimous decision, a decision that prompted this reaction from the winner, Terrence Ali. Did not even seem to faze the fight doctor. Meant nothing to him. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Ferdy Pacheco. And coming up a little bit later on here on Sports World, it will be that light heavyweight bout featuring Czyz and Andries, with the winner to get a title shot against the WBA champion, Virgil Hill. How do you break this fight down, Czyz and Andries?
Well, Bobby Czyz likes to start out fast, but he can't because Andries is so awkward. So he may take 2 or 3 rounds to figure him out. By that time, it may be too late.
All right, so Czyz and Andries can fantasize about that future title bout that would take place either in August or September against Virgil Hill. And on the subject of fantasy city, where earlier today Mike Tyson worked out extensively preparing for his heavyweight title fight against Michael Spinks, working out in the ring right behind us. We're about 10 minutes away from a light heavyweight bout matching Bobby Czyz and Andries. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, and we telecast many of those early bouts involving Bobby Czyz through his undefeated days and when he was known as the matinee idol. What do you remember most about those telecasts?
I remember Bobby's great confidence that he was going to be a champion and a superstar because of his charismatic presence. Well, he sold me. I thought he fought well enough to become a champion, and as far as his charismatic presence, he had all the elements of superstardom.
And when Czyz would enter the ring during those matinee idol days, he was always accompanied on the public address by the sounds of fame.
He was the darling of New Jersey fight fans.
Oh, I love Bobby Czyz.
But he had more than a fighter's appeal.
Does he have sex appeal? Yeah, a lot.
He became a matinee idol.
I follow all of Bobby's fights. I think he's terrific.
In the early 80s, Bobby Czyz was an unbeaten middleweight who enjoyed and nurtured the admiration of his fans, and above all, he could fight.
A careful combination by Czyz, and there goes
After winning 20 straight, Czyz seemed destined for superstardom. But then a dizzying series of disasters. In 1983, Czyz suffered his first loss, outpointed by Mustafa Hamsho. In the summer of '83, his father, Robert Sr., committed suicide, and a year later, Czyz pleaded guilty to charges of burglarizing the home of his former fiancée. What had once been a promising career seemed headed for oblivion.
Well, the very first thing on my mind was the surgery I had on my right hand. You know, would my career be able to continue? And then, unfortunately, before that was fully healed, my father passed away, which was really devastating to me because it was actually us. I wasn't born to fight. He created me in the eyes of what he thought would be the perfect son, and that was a fighter, a fighting machine, something that he wanted to be that did not have the opportunity to do. And, you know, everything just came, it was like a big snowball rolling down a hill. You know, I've likened it to that, and I couldn't see around it or over it, and I just had to follow it down until it exploded and then work my way back up.
Czyz made a comeback as a light heavyweight in 1986 and won the IBF world title. And then, after 3 successful defenses, calamity struck again when Prince Charles Williams survived this third-round onslaught and went on to take the title away from Czyz with a 9th-round technical knockout.
The fight was a circumstance where nothing went right. Training didn't go necessarily well, and I think I just overtrained. I wanted it too bad, and I just put too much in. And I was a little burnt out by fight time, and it just didn't have it there.
Perhaps Bobby Czyz is star-crossed. In fact, shades of Nancy Reagan, Czyz consulted a horoscope prior to his loss to Prince Charles Williams. The date of the fight did not look good. The most recent shadow over Czyz's career involved gambling. He's widely rumored to have become a compulsive gambler, including a $4,000 bet he laid on himself in the Williams fight.
The fact that people have said that I've let my gambling come before my training or my fighting or the rest of my life is not right. I may have lost more than I should have, but then who's to say I work for the money I can do as I see fit. I put 2 brothers through college. I have a home, a new home. Also take care of my mom and her home and my baby sister. So the family's all well. The bills are all paid. My priorities are in order.
Gambler may be the most accurate way to describe Bobby Czyz. Today, stakes are high. The payoff could be a return to past glories, a loss, and Czyz may cash in his boxing chips.
From Fight Time. For light heavyweight Dennis Andries, a 1986 WBC title shot versus champion J.B. Williamson was a chance to escape boxing obscurity. But winning a championship at age 32 doesn't often lead to a long reign, as Andries found out in his second title defense, a 1987 loss to Thomas Hearns.
No, I was going down without being hit some of the times. Why? Well, there's certain things I know what was going on, and I had a lot of problems with the people I was with.
The loss to Hearns prompted another step in Andries' 10-year professional odyssey. The Guyana native moved to Great Britain early in his career, where he stayed until deciding to head for Detroit to join Emanuel Stewart's Kronk Gym, home of the man who took his title away.
Yeah, very impressive working with the Kronk. I would advise people, who wants to get good training to come to the Kronk.
Andries' new mentor says that the former champion, now 34, is still learning. As an indication of that, last week, Andries was in Phoenix, again in the ring with Thomas Hearns, but this time as a sparring partner. With a win today, Dennis Andries could make his own Phoenix-like rise.
Got it. I'm very desperate to get that title back. I just a little taste of that title, and I like it, and I want to taste it again.
And it may well be a last shot for Dennis Andries, who is listed at age 31. He claims he's 31. Some say he's 34. Some say he may be 37 or 38 years old. And here he comes, a record of 30-7 with 2 draws, 17 by knockout. His last fight, February 20th in Detroit, he won a 10-round decision over Jamie Howe, a man who began his professional career back in 1978, opening with a first-round knockout, and earlier in his career he fought mostly out of London. Emanuel Stewart says that Andries has come a long way the past year. He says against Hearns he was wild and falling all over the place, but since then he's learned a lot of smart little moves. But he is an awkward, cumbersome fighter, not noted for his defense or his mobility. Dennis Andries going up against Bobby Czyz, the 26-year-old out of Wanacue, New Jersey. And Czyz hearing it from the crowd as he makes his way toward the ring. And once again, to the sounds of fame, here comes Czyz. A glittering entrance by Bobby Czyz. Scheduled for 10 rounds. A light heavyweight matchup, Bobby Czyz and Dennis Andries. And we'll be back with the fight in a moment. There's the IBF light heavyweight champion, Prince Charles Williams, who won the title by defeating Bobby Czyz. Prince Charles says Czyz will stop Andries by KO midway through the bout. Bobby Czyz perhaps borrowing an outfit from Michael the Silk Elijah Day for today's fight, getting ready for Dennis Andries. We're set for the introductions. Let's go to the ring for Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Top Rank Incorporated presents the featured bout of the afternoon. This contest is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Bally's Park Place Casino Hotel on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey, let's get ready to rumble 10 rounds in the light heavyweight division. The referee for this contest is Vinny Renoni. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the gold colors of the Kronk organization and weighs 175 1/2 pounds. He's from Detroit, Michigan. His professional record, 30 victories, 7 defeats and 2 draws, 18 KOs. He's ranked number 6 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the former light heavyweight champion of the world, Dennis Rock Andries. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue and gold trunks. He weighs 175 1/4 pounds. He's from Wanacue, New Jersey, and brings a professional record of 32 victories, only 2 defeats, 23 by KO. He's ranked number 1 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, also the former light heavyweight champion of the world, Bobby Czyz.
So the New Jersey native Bobby Czyz, the favorite of this crowd of 2,000 here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tail of the tape on the even side, except for the reach of Andries. What does Bobby Czyz have to do to defeat Dennis Andries?
He's going to have to figure out an awkward style, be patient, and in the early rounds just try to figure out what to do and then attack the older fighter.
And how about Andries?
Andries starts fast, continues to take advantage of his confusing style, above all, to fluster Czyz, hook to the eyes, because that proved to be the weak spot.
And there are some who feel that Czyz comes in overconfident and may not be properly trained, which means that that school of thought would have Czyz go to the early knockout.
Now, Czyz has been training himself for the last few fights, and of course that was a mistake in his last fight when he overtrained for Prince Williams and ran out of gas. We'll see what he has done much less this time, according to his admission. Tommy Park says he's in good condition, ready to weather out the first 2 or 3 before he launches his attack. Let's see.
Yeah, that loss by Czyz last October took place in the 9th round. Czyz able to unleash here at the start. Czyz losing his IBF light heavyweight crown. The fight was stopped when Czyz's right eye was severely swollen and closed, and he felt the loss cost him $1 million. He figured he'd get a shot at Thomas Hearns, but blew it.
He blew it for a very elementary reason. He didn't put a cut man in his corner. He didn't let Ralph Citro come work, and all of a sudden there was no one there to take care of the eye. This time he has remedied that by having Don Nelson, and Ralph Citro, whom he ignored last time, is working in Andries' corner.
And we're not talking Don Nelson of the Golden State Warriors.
Andries very awkward at the beginning. He can't figure out what he's doing. He still has not unleashed any heavy artillery in Bobby Czyz's direction. Bobby doing all the leading right now, just trying to figure out what he's got.
This is round 1, scheduled for 10, scoring on the 10-point system, handled by 3 judges, Lynn Carter, John Riley, Frank Brunette. 3 knockdown rule in effect. There is a standing 8 count. The bell does not save the fighter. That includes the final round, and the ringside position does have the authority to stop the bout.
Stiff jab by Andries being picked off by Bobby Czyz, who's kept his distance, has not been hit by many of those jabs. Punching well inside is Czyz. Andries started one of those looping, bizarre hooks of his, but held up as Bobby Czyz moved out of range.
Left hand by Czyz got in. Emmanuel Stewart says he's trying to shorten up the punches of Andries and also have him shorten the distance between his opponents. He's a man who's shown a lack of balance, sometimes an absence of technique. And the word awkward has been used on many an occasion. For round two from Atlantic City, Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. We're live on NBC Sports World. Czyz and Dennis Andries. Andries in the gold. Born in Guyana, family moved to England when he was in his early teens. He eventually became a British citizen, fighting mostly in England after he turned professional in 1978, and now fighting out of Detroit under the guidance of Emmanuel Stewart.
He has been sparring with Tommy Hearns. That could be very good or very bad, depending on whether you're catching or throwing.
And it was Hearns in March of '87 who stopped Andries in the 10th round. Good action fight.
Czyz is so far doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Keep his distance, try to figure this guy out, take the rounds narrowly by out-jabbing and out-boxing him. He's been doing that. Andries trying with his jab to establish something, but falling short with the jab.
All right, let him up. Don't punch.
Referee Vinny Renoni. Czyz with the left hook that led to the right hand.
This is a much more patient Bobby Czyz than I've ever seen. He usually wants to get in here and inflict some damage right early and establish himself, as he did in the Prince Williams fight.
There you go, Dennis.
Dennis starting to find the range.
Coming up on a minute left in the second round.
And now Dennis's jab is popping and starting to find Bobby Czyz. Nice combinations by Andries, who's trying to inflict some solid impressions on Bobby Czyz.
Very aggressive round for Dennis Andries.
Very good round for Dennis Andries as he continues to find the angles on Bobby Czyz, and Bobby Czyz continues to stand right in front of him.
Coming on late in the round. So that is it for round two. We'll be back in a moment. Bobby Czyz may have stolen that round from you. Andries very effective through most of the second round, and then Czyz came on with about 20 seconds left in the round.
Well, when a man wins the first 2.5 minutes, I don't think the other guy is going to steal it with just a couple of good shots that he did. I thought Andries won that round. I think they're even, 19-19 right now. I think Bobby took the first one. Czyz has been patient, but he's going to have to forget the patience because Andries is getting brave. He's coming on.
This is round three, scheduled for 10.
Remember, we've got one of the best corner psychologists in boxing in Emmanuel Stewart. And he certainly knows how to motivate a fighter. Andries thought he's lost the first 2 rounds, and he is told to go out and keep up the pressure on Bobby Czyz.
Since Andries joined forces with Stewart about 6 months ago, he has won 2 10-round decisions. He won the WBC light heavyweight crown in April of '86 by decision over J.B. Williamson. Successfully defended with a 9th round knockout of Tony Simpson. But then in March of '87, he was stopped by Thomas Hearns.
He has not tasted a hard punch from Bobby to the head yet. Czyz content to be patient, trying to pick up these rounds a little bit at a time. Lost the last one, and right now they're just about even, going neck and neck at this one. there's a perfect example of the awkward hook that we spoke of, falling off balance. He threw a right hook that Andries said land, and now he's landing again on Czyz, who gives ground.
Good combination by Andries. Does Czyz have the punch of a legitimate light heavyweight?
I think he does. I think he's a heavy punching kid. But you got to set his motor up. He's got to fight all out. He just can't fight halfway. When you try to fight halfway, the other guy gets brave. That's what's happening now, and Andries is taking advantage of this low flame that's burning within Bobby Czyz right now. He's got to get kicked out. He's got to get started. That awkward hook that he throws, who would you liken that to in basketball, you being the famous expert?
Myself.
I was thinking of Dominique, but that's okay.
And we come up on 10 seconds left in the third round. Once again, it is Andries in command. Round 4 from Bally's Park Place Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. You mentioned the fact that Bobby Czyz is most effective when he's going all out. And he's candid in assessing his own skills. He says he's always viewed himself. Oh, he took a nice right hand from Andries. He's always viewed himself as a fighter with limited ability, but with a lot of potential because of his desire, and that desire has to be stepped up.
He has to be going all out for Bobby Czyz to be effective. Right now, he's taking some very good shots from Dennis Andries.
And then Czyz back, but the crowd overreacting. It was not a strong left hand.
This is a pro-Czyz crowd, and you're going to hear anything that Bobby Czyz does is going to be greeted with tumultuous screams.
Minute gone by in the fourth round.
Andries getting very careless with those long punches and those awkward hooks. If Bobby can keep his head about him, if Czyz can keep his head about him, he can step in with short punches and then be very effective against a wide open and careless Andries.
And for Dennis Andries, an unusual start. He's normally a slow starter, but he's been able to get off quickly here against Czyz, at least over the first 3 rounds.
As they say in boxing, he has been first. I mean, he gets off first in a combination of punches. There's that looping hook. Boy, is this guy awkward.
Czyz, though, showing some signs in the fourth round. But here's Andries with the combination that is answered by Czyz, and the action beginning to pick up. Just under a minute left in round 4.
I think that pilot flame is starting to burn high in Bobby Czyz. He's starting to say, let me get this thing started, because it's getting away from him.
Watch your head. Right down, step back.
Seconds to go in the round. Czyz has been finishing fast. That's the case in rounds 2 and 3. But not the case here in the fourth. Heavyweight champion Mike Tyson in conversation with Jerry Page, a man who captured the 84 Olympic 139-pound gold medal in Los Angeles, but earlier today on NBC Sports Ringside lost by unanimous decision to Terrence Ali, his first professional defeat.
I think they said, I think Tyson told him, tell you what, take the gold medal, melt it, buy a convenience store in Camden, and forget about boxing.
Is that what he said?
I'm sure he said. I tried to read his lips.
Gary Page was very upset about the loss. In fact, questioned whether he should continue his career. In a conversation with manager-trainer Angelo Dundee, Page was put down in the third round by Terrence Ali. This is round 5. Bobby Czyz in the glittering trunks and Dennis Andries in the gold. Andries now living in Detroit, record of 30-7, 2 draws, 17 by knockout. And Czyz, the 26-year-old from Wanacue, New Jersey, comes in at 32-2, 23 by KO. They are both one-time light heavyweight champions. And on the line here today is another shot at a title with the WBA champ Virgil Hill waiting in the wings.
Czyz is committing the error of letting Andries lead all the time, which builds up points. That's one of the ways to get around. Are you ahead? Are you leading the fight? Are you making the fight? And of course he is. And that's costing Bobby Czyz very close rounds. They are close. Bobby seems to be getting his fire up. And of course, with Andries' age, whatever it is, close to 34, 35, hovering in that mid-range, you look for him to get tired and weaken in the end.
He says he's 31, as we mentioned earlier. He's been listed at 34. He's been listed in London as old as 38.
Well, when our crack boxing consultant, Kevin Monahan, surprised him with a pop quiz and said, "What date were you born?" he couldn't figure it out fast enough, and he said, 32 years old. Well, take it or leave it.
Try to come up with the year, but not quick enough.
He came up with a day, the 5th, but he couldn't remember the month.
What does the Fight Doctor scorecard show?
I have Andries ahead, 39-37, but the rounds were extremely close. We're in New Jersey, and although the New Jersey Commission is extremely honest, still, you have this crowd roaring and screaming every time Bobby does anything that could affect the judges.
And the 3 judges are from New Jersey.
Czyz getting closer and closer to the range. Putting hard punishment. Andries appears to be slowing over the last 2 or 3 rounds.
And we have come to the conclusion. Round 5. Making his way out for round 6, meeting up with Bobby Czyz, scheduled for 10. Marv Albert and the Fight Doctor, Freddie Pacheco from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Czyz opening the round with a zinging left hook right to the midsection of Andries. And of course, that's not the kind of thing that makes you happy when age starts creeping up on you. Those body punches really multiply.
And Andries again on target, but Czyz able to counter.
Take out, don't punch, get out.
They have been bumping heads all through this, and that's not good for Czyz's eye, his left eye, which we have to keep a close look at.
In his last fight, he was stopped by Prince Charles Williams in the 9th round. Czyz losing his IBF light heavyweight title, and the fight was stopped when the eye blew up, severely swollen and closed, and they had to stop the bout.
This round, Bobby Czyz is on track in that he's going to the body with heavy punches, not just light punches. And of course, that is exactly what his corner has been wanting him to do.
Czyz getting in with the uppercut.
It's a long string coming out of the glittering trunks of Bobby Czyz, which is part of his protector. That's the kind of crunching body shot that Bobby Czyz will eventually slow down Andries with.
Under a minute left in the 6th round. And Dennis Andries, has advertised, straight ahead, physical, sometimes a crude fighter. Does have great stamina, though. no matter what his actual age is.
Extremely low punch by Bobby Czyz landed well under the DRI and the trunks of Andries.
Take him up, Bobby.
And Vinny Ranoni telling Czyz that he's hitting low to keep the blows up.
Now, don't punch.
So we have come to the end of the 6th round. Welcome back to Atlantic City, New Jersey, as round 7 gets underway. Bobby Czyz and Dennis Andries. And they are vying for a title shot against Virgil Hill, the WBA light heavyweight champion. That bout scheduled to take place late in the summer. What does the scorecard tell us?
Quite unofficially, I've got it dead even right now, 57 to 57. Bobby coming on in the last couple of rounds, winning them narrowly with his heavy body attack. Andries has a knot over his left eyelid, which Ralph Citro had to treat with the end swell. Could be a problem. As I say, both men have been bumping heads, and that goes both ways.
Andries getting in with a combination.
Let him out. Step back. Nice and clean.
Minute gone by in the 7th round.
Czyz turned Andries nicely off the ropes, but then didn't do anything. He just flip-flops when these rounds. Just when you think he's ready to take command of the fight, he goes back into his trance. Letting Andries get brave and piling up points with his attack.
Andries also warned by the referee Ranoni for holding as Czyz was able to get the right hand in. And again, the crowd, a Czyz crowd reacts. And a chant of Bobby.
Andries missing many more punches than he's landing now, getting extremely sloppy to add to his awkwardness.
Breakout, step out.
Good exchange with 10 seconds left in the 7th. We'll be back after these words. Between rounds, Dennis Andries told by Emmanuel Stewart that he has Czyz ahead on points. He also told Andries to shorten up on his punches, and Andries comes out in aggressive fashion.
Andries has another problem. He's got a cut above the right eye. Citro says it's not very bad. He can handle it. But it is another factor, as his corner has been telling Andries he is behind. He's got to get started.
And there is Emmanuel Stewart, who has been working with Andries on shortening up his punches. Emmanuel Stewart, who runs the Crunk Gym in Detroit. So Dennis Andries, who was stopped by Thomas Hearns, losing his title in the process, now a member of the Crunk team.
Andries certainly leading in this round. He came out surprised Czyz with the power of his punch and effectiveness of his attack, and now has Czyz up against the ropes.
Let's go, boys. Once more, keep going.
And it has been a busy fight for the referee, Vinny Renoni, with Czyz and Andries going at close quarters.
There's been a lot of low punches, but only one warning from Vinny Renoni to Bobby Czyz.
Pick him up.
Low punches on both fighters' part. A lot of bumping heads. Bobby Czyz showing the first signs of weariness, stumbling out of that head-to-head contact on the ropes.
And Andries able to land with the right hand. Just under 1 minute remaining in the 8th round.
Big impressive round for Andries so far. He has dominated Bobby Czyz and imposed his will on Czyz, driving him to the ropes and outpointing him on the ropes.
And we are final seconds of the 8th. It is scheduled for 10. We'll be back with Bobby Czyz and Dennis Andries.
And this is round 9. Bobby Czyz out to meet up with Dennis Andries. Czyz with that record of 32-2.
The 2 losses in the title fight with Prince Charles Williams, and then back in November of '82, he dropped a 10-round decision, a crushing loss for Czyz, losing to Mustafa Hamsho here in Atlantic City. He was unbeaten in his previous 20 fights, all as a middleweight, then moved up to the light heavyweight ranks and won the IBF light heavyweight title. Successfully defended twice and then lost to Williams.
Get off!
Bobby Czyz starting to have difficulty with his fight. He's standing straight in front of Andries. Andries, the older man and the veteran fighter, bouncing up and down as if he had all the energy in the world. And that's what winning a round does for you. He came out, he took that last round, the 8th, in decisive fashion, and he now begins to believe that he can beat Bobby Czyz.
He's playing very confident with the hands down low, and then warned by Renoni.
Bobby Czyz either playing possum or he is out of gas, because he gives no movement to Andries. He stands right in front of him. He gives him no angle. He gives no movement. He doesn't start first. Andries beating him to the punch and piling up these points.
Andries looking very fresh. Earlier we discussed the fact that he is known for his stamina. And you look at the 2 fighters. When you consider it's the 9th round, that is written all over the face of Czyz, but not the case with Andries.
Andries actually looks like he's having a good time. He looks a little frisky.
No, let him up. Let him up.
Renoni controlling the fight very well, letting the boxers go at it without too much interference.
How do you score it?
Right now, I've got it dead even, but I must say, Andries overall looks like he's winning this fight. On points, I've got it 76-76.
And the scoring on the 10-point system, handled by 3 judges, all 3 from Czyz's home state here in New Jersey. Lynn Carter, John Riley, and Frank Burnett.
Bobby's going to have, Czyz is going to have a blazing 10th round and an impressive 10th round to justify this decision, if indeed he cops it, because it looks like Andries is taking this round to go ahead.
And we will stay right here between rounds as we head to the 10th and final round. drop on the corner. Bobby Czyz. His trainer is Tommy Parks.
Listen to me. This fight, listen to me. You let the fight get back in close. Go to 1-2. Keep this close guy. Last round coming up.
Bob, we need to punch.
Don't let him move towards you, Bobby. Go to him and punch. You only got 3 more minutes, so you lay it all out.
Out of the corner of Dennis Andries, Emmanuel Stewart doing the talking here.
You got to get this for your little boys, man. You got to get this here. Give me 3 minutes of everything that you got inside of you. 3 minutes of it. 3 minutes of it, okay?
Give me it.
We sleep on the plane going back.
All right, let's go.
To victory. We'll get all the rest we want here.
All right, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Let's ready to get it on now.
Emmanuel Stewart saying we'll sleep on the plane going back. No resting here. 10th and final round. A very tough fight to call. And again, we remind you that the 3 judges are from New Jersey. Bobby Czyz from Wanacue, New Jersey. Dennis Andries, a native of Guyana, located on the east coast of South America, now living in Detroit. And waiting in the wings, a title shot against the WBA light heavyweight champion, Virgil Hill.
Bobby's going to have to crank it up. Czyz's corner has told him, we need this round big. You got to start going. You've been asleep. And so he has, as Andries has pumped up the last 2 rounds, looking cocky, looking like he has the match in his back pocket.
Come on, Bobby.
Well, the first impression of this fight is that Andries has been in command most of the way. But you never know how the scoring will turn out.
In spite of the fact that all 3 judges are from New Jersey, they are time-tested boxing judges, and rather impressive. Good right hand by Andries.
No knockdowns to this point. Andries has been down several times during the course of his career in 3 different fights. Czyz down only once, flash knockdown in a victory over Willie Edwards last year. And we have hit the halfway point of this 10th and final round.
And Bobby Czyz is still letting Dennis Andries dictate the pace of the fight. Oh, very low punch.
Oh, you got to keep them up, Bobby.
Czyz looking to touch gloves, but Andries did not want to.
Andries is holding out for a minute's rest.
And we come up on 1 minute remaining in the fight.
Andries outwitting, outfighting, outmuscling Bobby Czyz on the ropes, and Bobby Czyz falling back to the other ropes instead of trying to lead into the attack and convincingly win this last fight.
And once again, Ranoni with the warning. Czyz throwing a low blow. Left hook off the spin by Andries.
Andries fighting like this is the last fight if he doesn't win. He's going for a title shot. Bobby a little bit more lackluster. He just doesn't look like he wants it as much as Andries does, and that's the bottom line of this fight.
We did not see the great desire on the part of Czyz right from the start. And we are final seconds of the bout. Bobby Czyz and Dennis Andries go the distance. And we'll be back here in Atlantic City with the decision right after we pause for these words. Back in Atlantic City, the scorecards being collected by the ring announcer, Michael Buffer. The judges, Lynn Carter, John Riley, Frank Brunette. From the state of New Jersey, the scoring on the 10-point system handled by the 3 judges. The referee does not score. Fight Doctor had it a close decision for Andries, 96-94, and now we get the official decision. And apparently all the cards have not been collected. And now we get the word that we're ready, so let's go to the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Bally's Park Place in Atlantic City, here is the official scoring. John Riley scores the bout 95-95 even. Lynn Carter scores it 98-93, and Frank D. Burnett scores it 96-94. 94. For the winner, by majority decision, Dennis Andries. Let's hear it for Bobby Czyz.
So the majority decision, and a big one for Dennis Andries, who now will go on to meet the WBA light heavyweight champion Virgil Hill in either August or September, and will get another crack at the light heavyweight title. And Andries is with the fight doctor. Let's go to the ring.
Did you think it was that difficult toward the end that you could have to press to win at the very end?
Yeah, Emmanuel Stewart is like a captain in a ship, steer you out of the iceberg, in and out of the iceberg. And anytime he told me something, I listen to him, especially when it's desperately close. I got to get going. But Bobby Czyz is a world champion just as much as I was. And you can't take nothing away from him. He was very good.
Emmanuel Stewart, of course, the manager of many champions. Did you think this was fading away from you in the middle rounds?
Yes, I did. I thought that it was either way the first 3-4, but then in the middle rounds, I thought that Bobby was coming on. A lot of punches he threw may not have been effective, but it was affecting the crowd, and I thought it was affecting judges. And he had to get a little more excited about what he was doing.
So it's on to a championship shot, and we are back to Marv Albert at ringside.
All right, Ferdy, Dennis Andries now 31-7-2, as he has won by decision, a close decision over the 26-year-old New Jersey native Bobby Czyz, who has suffered his third defeat. He is now 32-3, and Bobby Czyz is alongside Ferdy.
A disappointment, Bobby?
Oh, of course. You know, I looked for a 10-round fight. We trained for it. He's a little stronger than I really thought. I mean, his size is really strong, and his head and arms are a little awkward to deal with. He comes from some strange angles. A couple times that load on big combination, he just wasn't there.
Bobby, why did you let him lead all through the last 4 or 5 rounds? He was making the fight. You were reacting.
I could see him and block him, but he's such an awkward angle fighter that my counters were just not there.
You're a young man.
Hit him.
You're a young man, Bobby. Where do you go from here?
I'll be back. You just got to work harder.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Back to Marv Albert at ringside.
So Bobby Czyz says he will be back. Dennis Andries is on his way to another shot at the title. He's looking ahead now.